Today on Knobi Cooks I have another pizza specialty for you. You like pizza, you like barbecue and you like chicken? Well, then this BBQ Chicken Pizza is certainly the right thing for you. The combination of smoky barbecue sauce, chicken breast filet, red onions and cheese is truly incredible. If you enjoy my content, please consider leaving a like and subscribing to my channel. Let's get started. Make sure you have all your ingredients ready and at hand, as well as all the utensils we will need for baking our pizza. Starting well prepared into your cooking journey makes your life so much easier, trust me. We start by rolling out our pizza dough. I am, as usual, using my own homemade pizza dough. I have made a tutorial video on how to prepare your own pizza dough. If you haven't seen it yet, go check it out. Though you can of course use your own recipe or buy pizza dough at your local supermarket. Both of those options work just as well. Since I'm always baking two pizzas, I start by splitting my pizza dough in half. After that, I will first shape it into a ball and then roll it around in flour on my countertop. Once there's flour clinging to all sides, I start pressing down to shape my pizza dough ball into a rough pizza shape. After that, I further flatten it against my countertop, and once I think it's flat enough, I use my rolling pin to bring it into its final pizza shape. Then I simply roll it out until it is as thin as I want it to be. Afterwards, I simply put it into my baking tray, in which I have already placed some parchment paper, and then I stretch it out until it has roughly the shape of my baking tray. That's it, my first dough is done. After that, I simply repeat the process for the second half of my dough. In case you want to follow my pizza dough tutorial, you should go for just plain white flour pizza dough for this recipe. I wouldn't recommend using whole grain flour for this recipe because it doesn't fit as well as for some of the other pizzas I have on my channel. Since this is basically another fast food imitation like my pizza Boston recipe you can find on my channel, white flour pizza dough just fits way better. Because for what it's worth, I have never eaten a whole grain pizza anywhere in any fast food restaurant out there. Have you? If so, tell me down below in the comments which fast food restaurant it was. Once you have your pizza doughs rolled out and sitting in your baking trays, we can start pre-baking them. For this, turn your oven to 200 degrees Celsius or 392 degrees Fahrenheit top and bottom heat. Then put the baking trays into your oven and simply take a look at your dough from time to time. In the meantime, we continue by cutting our red onions. For this, quarter your onions and then simply cut them into slices. I think quarter onion rings are simply way better than whole onion rings on pizza because they cook better and are simply more handy to eat. If you ask me, you should add a good bit of onions onto your pizza because the red onions simply complement the rest of the pizza very well. And if you didn't get your hands on red onions, you can use shallots as an alternative. As soon as we have finished cutting our onions, we can start cutting our mozzarella cheese. I'm using one ball of mozzarella cheese and then I will cut it into roughly 16 pieces, so each of my pizza slices will get some mozzarella on it. That is because I usually cut each of my pizza into 8 pieces. For my barbecue chicken pizza recipe, I'm using a little less mozzarella cheese than some other recipes, and I prefer to use a little bit more of my shredded Gouda, though if you want to, you can swap the ratios of your cheese. We continue by preparing our pizza sauce. As a base for my pizza sauce, I'm using half sieved tomatoes and half barbecue sauce. And when it comes to the barbecue sauce, simply take the barbecue sauce of your choice. I just happen to have one already opened, which just wasn't enough for these pizzas. After that, simply add parsley, salt and ground black pepper and then thoroughly mix your sauce. If you like the barbecue taste very much, you can of course alter the ratio of sieved tomatoes to barbecue sauce, though I think half and half is a good point to start if you have never made this pizza before. On the other hand, if you have a good recipe for a barbecue sauce, feel free to use that. And if my ingredients seem a little bland to you, I think you could also include some garlic, some bell pepper powder and some ground chili to spice it up. Just be careful with the salt, since we will salt our chicken breast later on too, and there's also some salt in our cheese. And now that I think of it, this is the first recipe for pizza with tomato sauce I'm showing you on my channel. So far all of the pizzas on my channel were pizza biancas. That is with a white sauce, using either cream and cream cheese sauce or a sauce hollandaise. But enough talking about sauce. It is time to move to our last ingredient which we need to prepare. Our chicken strips. I am using pre-cut chicken breast in this video, though you can also use whole chicken breast. Then simply take your chicken breast and cut it into strips as large or as small as you want them to be. They shouldn't be too small so they don't dry out once we put them into our oven. On the other hand, they also shouldn't be too big so they are properly cooked while in our oven. Once you have finished cutting your chicken breast, put it into a bowl and season it with salt and pepper. Afterwards, add a little bit of oil to your chicken breast. I am using olive oil here, though an oil with less taste of its own would probably be preferable. And one last thing about the chicken breast, be careful with the amount of meat you put onto your pizza. The chicken breast will leak some water, and if you put too much onto your pizza, you may soak your pizza during the baking process. That's it, put your chicken breast aside for now, no need to mix it with the spices and oil for now. Very well, we have now prepared all of our ingredients and our pizza dough is nicely pre-baked, which means we can start putting our ingredients on top of our pizza dough. Start by distributing your pizza sauce equally between the two pizza doughs. Then simply spread it evenly until most of the pizza dough is covered with sauce. Next, put a chicken breast on top of your sauce. But before you do that, first mix it with the oil and the spices. Here too, go for equal distribution between the two pizzas and even distribution on top of your pizza. Next, proceed with your red onion rings the same way you did before with the chicken breast. After that, spread the shredded cheese on top of your pizzas and finally place the pre-cut mozzarella cheese on top. And I have a question for you. Where did you first eat a barbecue chicken pizza? Did someone prepare it at home or did you go to a fast food restaurant? In my case, I first ate it on a date at L'Osteria, which is a German restaurant chain that offers Italian food. I liked the pizza so much that I looked it up on the internet and got some inspiration for my own recipe. I took bits of this and that recipe, and the recipe you see today is the one I ended up with afterwards. They have a very cool offer where you can buy 2 pizzas in one and get 1/2 of each pizza type, which is great for trying out new pizzas. And that's exactly what I did on that day at L'Osteria. The other pizza type I tried was pizza Cesare e Pollo. This pizza, which is another pizza bianca, also blew me away, and I have also looked up recipes for this type of pizza on the internet. Small spoiler, I'm already planning to do a video on pizza Cesare e Pollo sometime in the future, so keep out a watch for that. And speaking of pizza recipes, is there any ingredient I'm missing on my barbecue chicken pizza? Are there any ingredients you usually put on top of your barbecue chicken pizza? Tell me down below in the comments. Let me tell you one thing about fast food. It may not be healthy, but it's good for getting inspiration for your home cooking. I have a couple of recipes in my repertoire that stem originally from fast food experiences. And the good thing about cooking fast food at home is that you can make it as healthy as possible. Okay, but enough talk about fast food experiences. It's time to bake our pizza. Your oven should still be up and running from pre-baking our pizza dough, so we can shove our pizza right into it. Then we only need to wait for a little while and maybe swap out the baking trays so both pizzas get baked equally. Then after about 15 minutes, turn on the air convection of your oven. This way the pizza will get brown and crispy. Then simply bake until you're satisfied with the crispiness and the brownness of your pizza. In my case, that was for about 10 more minutes. And that's it, we have reached the end of this recipe. Afterwards, take the pizza out of the oven, cut it into pieces and serve it. I happen to have some fresh arugula lying around, which fitted surprisingly well to this pizza. And as I often say, a little bit of green works wonders for the eye. Though now it's time to close the video. Tell me how you liked today's episode. And if you have made this pizza yourself, tell me how it tasted for you. I'm really happy for any feedback and inspiration. And with that said, I'm Knobi Cooks and I see you in the next one. Goodbye.